Hey, what's up, boys and girls? It's I, Brandy, and I'm gonna do kind of like a half react, a half like analysis breakdown video today. So I just watched season 1 of Wednesday. I know I'm behind. I know the hype for this was a while ago. I was planning on watching it, and then I didn't, and then, you know, life happened. Anyways, I watched it over the past, like, 2 weeks, and I'm obsessed. I love it. I love it so much. I knew I was gonna love it. I liked the Addams family growing up, the different renditions, the TV show, the movies, and I've always loved the character of Wednesday. I felt like I related to her a bit of being an outcast and being kind of, like, just like her own person in a world where society doesn't understand her. And I also have this obsession with Jenna Ortega right now. She is a phenomenal actress, and I love everything that I've seen her in. Recently saw the new Scream movie, and then this, and I'm just like, please give me more. So they did give us a season 2 announcement. It was like 2 months ago, so I was going to check that out and kind of like react to it, and then following that I was basically going to give my thoughts on what I think could potentially be there for a season 2. So the later half of this video will have some spoilers for season 1, so if you haven't watched it, here's your heads up to be like, hey, go watch it or you're gonna be spoiled. But let's get into this trailer, see what it gives us, and then we'll go from there. Now, I do know that this show was originally canceled after season 1, so I don't know if they necessarily have a set season 2 storyline, per se. They did leave us on a cliffhanger, but it was originally canceled, and then it was renewed a couple months later, so I'm not sure what to expect with this, to be honest.
Over the past few weeks, I've been hunted, haunted, and mimicked millions of times across the internet. It's been pure torture. Thank you.
Was that like mimicked a million times across the internet? Is that like her, like them making fun of like the fact that all the TikTok trends went crazy with the Wednesday? It's gotta be. It's gotta be. Gotcha. Okay. So
honestly, I wish I cared a little more.
Alright, so this didn't show us anything new, which I was kind of not necessarily expecting anything new. So I'm not surprised by that. So in terms of a season 2, I'm excited that we're getting a second season, because those of you guys that had watched the first season, it concluded relatively well. I mean, the entire story of figuring out who was the monster that was killing the kids at Nevermore and what was happening, we figured out who it was. That storyline did conclude. The headmistress was killed. So, like, and the other teacher was the one behind it all. I don't remember names. I'm horrible with names, so please don't ask me to name anybody. But all of that had concurred. We do get that final scene at the end of season 1, though, where the guy that was like was pursuing Wednesday, who was the monster, was in the police thing. He was all strapped down, and then he's like, you know, going into his monster form to attack someone or something. So we don't know what that is implying. It seems like the was it Bianca? Was it the one who was the bully at school? She seems to squash the beef that her and Wednesday had. So that relationship of there being like the school bully or the teasing and whatnot, I feel like if we get in season 2, we're not going to have any of that, because all of that has been squashed. So unless we got like new students that joined in or came for the next semester, we're not really going to have that tension between the classmates. Then we also get Eden, and she went full wolf, so she finally can turn into a wolf. So her like dilemma that she was dealing with for the course of it is kind of concluded as well. So it's like, where does her story necessarily go from there? So I'm not really sure. it seems like a lot of the loose ends were tied up, but being that they are going into a second season, they could honestly just come up with some new, like, case that Wednesday's trying to solve, essentially. So there would have to be some new monster, some new problem, some new something, because everything that was a story in this was already tied up. And even side stories, like with her dad being a murder suspect, like that whole story was concluded. Everything with Morticia and then, like, all of that came to a close. They could potentially bring in more characters from the original, like, shows and movies, because there is a couple of people that they didn't show as much, or like Uncle Fester only had like a couple of cameos in some of the later episodes. So they could bring in more of the family. Overall, the family doesn't show up a great deal throughout the series. It really is just focused on Wednesday and being at the school. A new headmistress would definitely be worked into the story for the next season. The whole season, you kind of, or at least I thought the headmistress was behind part of it, especially when she changed into the one kid that died to, like, cover that up. I was like, why are you doing that? What is the point of that? But I guess just to keep the peace. But I suspected she had something to do with it all, and I was surprised when she really didn't. And then how she died, like, so quickly and out of the blue. I was like, what? You just finally make us like you, and then you die? How does that happen? So we're definitely going to have to get another headmistress or whatever, which could be potentially a storyline in itself. The new headmistress could be suspect. So there's really a lot of direction that this could go. They've already flushed out, like, the differences between the, like, normies and those at Nevermore. They could even do more field trips to different places further away. Like, there is a lot of versatility, and being that it is Tim Burton, this entire series had such a Tim Burton feel to it. It just had that vibe, it had that eeriness, but it had the kind of, like, eerie mixed with a little cheeky that Tim Burton does with his stuff, which I love. I love his style, his aesthetic, the way that he puts together a story is so clever and creative, in my opinion, and I think this was absolutely wonderfully done. And I'm very excited to see what we get for season 2. I was initially surprised when they had canceled it, because I had heard that this broke, like, tons of records, like even broke some of the Stranger Things records. So I was very glad to see that they redacted that, and now that we get another season coming, which, low-key, complete side note, I'm hoping that we get a season 3 of Fate Winx Saga, because they also canceled that show for no reason. Give us more Fate, it's so good. But that is going to be my thoughts on that. I do want to know what you guys think, and 1, are you excited for season 2? 2, did you watch season 1? And 3, what are your thoughts that you think could potentially come for a season 2? Because, like I kind of just discussed, they wrapped up a lot of the loose ends, so they would really have to I feel like come up with a totally brand new story to kind of piece everything together. And it seems like they like to have, like, one base story with, like, side things going on as well. And they even tied up the side things, so they'll have to incorporate more of that. My thoughts are they're going to have to bring in a lot of new characters, either new students, a new headmistress, potentially more Addams family members, and go from there. Or we could even, to be honest, get more scenes of Wednesday before she gets to Nevermore or returns to Nevermore, or vice versa. So we could have an episode or 2 of her actually at home, kind of like a throwback to how it, you know, the originals, and then move on from there. But I love this. I love that it was like 9 episodes and not like the 6 that every other show keeps doing. So please give us more. But that is going to be it for me. As always, if you did like this, please give it a big thumbs up. I put up new videos here every single day at 4 p.m. Eastern. So if you ever want me to do, like, deep dives like this with reactions or whatnot, please feel free to comment those below, because I would love to do that. And I would love to like hypothesize about what potential seasons of shows or sequels to movies or whatever it could bring for us, because I love having those discussions, and being able to kind of like bounce ideas off of each other is super fun for me. Aside from that, I also stream over on Twitch Monday through Thursday at 9 p.m. Eastern. So if you ever want to talk in real time, feel free to come through there. We've been playing a lot of horror games lately. So if you like spooky stuff like Wednesday, come through for all the spooky games over there. If you can handle them. There's a lot of jump scares sometimes. But until the next video, thank you all so much for watching. Thank you for being here. Give it a big thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button. And I will see you all in the next video. Bye, fam!